What's up guys, welcome back once again to do the reviews. Today I'm going to be looking at some more fans, and these ones have been sent over by Inwin, so massive thank you to Inwin for sending these over. These are the Inwin Sirius ASE120 Extremes. So we're going to do a few tests with these. Basically what I've done is I've put my Pure Loop by Be Quiet back in, Pure Loop 240 with Be Quiet's Light Wings fans on it, which are really good fans. With my standard setup, so I've got three 140s in the front, three 120s in the bottom, the two 120 Be Quiets on the AIO, and a single 120 exhaust at the back. So what I'm going to do is basically run a test at that my stock configuration, see what the sort of result is. Just going to do 5 minutes on cinebench multi-core, just to give me a sort of baseline temperature. And then basically I'm going to do two tests. I'm going to put these in the front to replace the 140s, so basically sort of testing them for airflow. And then I'm going to put two of them on, replace the fans back again, put two of them on the AIO, and then test it like that and see how they are for static pressure as well, so you get sort of an all-round view of how good these fans are for what your use case may be. So obviously first of all I'll get into the unboxing. I'll show you what's in the box, what they look like, sort of the quality of them, and then we'll get them installed and do the testing. Right, so as I mentioned, this is the Inwin Sirius ASE120 Extreme fan. This is a 3-pack. I assume they come singly, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure the price either. This will all go in the description below, so have a look in there, and I'll put some links into these to where you can buy them, more information you can find out about these. But anyway, let's have a look at what's in the box. We'll have a quick look around the box. It supports addressable aRGB, obviously. Has ASRock Polychrome Sync, ASUS Aura Sync, RGB Fusion by Gigabyte, and MSI Mystic Light. So all your major motherboard softwares are covered there, so that's nice. So they're going to sync nicely with those. We'll have a look at the specs on the back. So features are a squoval frame traced with aRGB lighting, whatever squoval means. Structural improvements and massive increase in airflow. I guess that's over their previous fans. I don't have them to test, so I can't confirm that. Minimal noise, best for all working environments. Again, that's something I'll look at. Intelligent PWM cooling design. I assume that's a standard PWM. And syncs with aRGB motherboard, as I've just mentioned before. So in this package you get obviously your fans, you get a controller, which is a one-click controller. I assume this is going to be like a button that you press, and obviously your screws you get in there as well. Specs of the fans, standard 120mm size. They are, where we're looking, speeds up to 1500 plus or minus 10% RPM. So obviously they're not as fast as the Be Quiets that I've got in there, so I don't expect them to perform as well especially on the AIO. I don't expect them to perform as well because they're not as high speed as those, and they're 54 CFM. Right, so let's pop the box open and have a look at what we get in here. I've just told you pretty much what we get, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Cables are all bundled on top here. This is your controller. As it says, it's a one-click controller, so that's somewhere you need to place so you can reach that. It's literally one button to change the effects on that. So it's not the most in-depth controller. I prefer one to have a bit more functionality. Like if you're going to have something like this, have a remote so you can do it without pressing this button. But for most people, it's probably not a problem because you'll be using it via the motherboard software, which is what I'll be doing. I'll be using ASUS Aura Sync to control them and match them to everything else. As I said, all the cables are stuffed on the top. We've got what looks like anti-vibration mounts that you have to put on yourself. That's a new one on me. It's very different. They're normally just pre-installed, but there's anti-vibration mounts, unless they're spares, but we'll have a look in a sec. And then 3 packs of screws, which is standard. Right, I'm just going to get one fan out. There's no point in getting them all out. Just to show you for now so you can see the quality. You can quite nicely packaged here. And there is the fan itself. Quite weighty, not anywhere near as hefty as the Be Quiet Light Wings. They are absolutely chunky and really heavy, and so such good quality. These aren't quite as heavy, but they still feel actually really good quality. There's literally no hub wobble in them at all, so they're well manufactured. Yeah, look quite nice. Sort of standard sort of blade design, but there's sort of like a lip on the end of these here. So we'll have a look at that. And then in terms of aRGB, it's literally a loop that goes all the way around here, and it's quite a thin aRGB, and it's not going to produce loads of light. So if you're wanting something with a lot of light, then these probably aren't for you. And by the looks of it, there's aRGB on the back in these little strips here. As I think I mentioned in a previous video when I talked about having these in, these look very similar to Cole's Astro fans. I'm not saying they are the same, but they look very, very similar. And I absolutely love those fans, so hopefully these will look just as nice. Other than that, you've got your standard Inwin logo on the side there. It's really solidly built, actually. And then you've got this sort of sweeping frame, which is supposed to basically help the airflow as well. And yes, you don't have to install the anti-vibration mounts yourself, which is a bit weird. I don't know why they've done that. That's not normal. Most fans come with that installed. And then lastly, standard PWM with daisy chain ability, so you can daisy chain those together, so you don't have to use separate headers for each one. And again, the same with the aRGB connector, standard aRGB connector, 3.5 volts, and daisy chainable as well. So that's nice to see. So you run most of these off just one header. So that's good. Anyway, let's get these installed. Let's do the testing, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. Obviously, I'll give you a look at how they look once they're installed, so you can see how good they look, and we'll go from there. Right, so there we have the Inwin Sirius Extreme 120mm fans, and I assume you'll agree with me when I say they look absolutely fantastic. They do look very similar, like I said previously, to the Cole fans I did a long time ago, which I'll put in the description or up there somewhere for you to have a look at. They do look very similar, and yeah, they look really good. The diffusion's pretty much spot on. You can notice a little bit of a hot spot where the LEDs are, but it's nothing too serious. So, and obviously they've got the RGB on the back as well, and you can see it from the back quite nicely. They're quite bright as well. Obviously, they're a very slim sort of ARGB light sort of diffusers around it, so you're not going to produce loads of light, but they would look quite nice if you had a whole case full of these, just because there's like subtle lighting around. But that's my opinion. You obviously decide what you think about them. I think they look brilliant. But yeah, it's up to you what you think. It's a personal preference, but I think they look great. So as I mentioned before, I'm doing a few tests on this. So I did my first test was basically at my stock sort of settings. So that's 340mm Corsair fans. These are really old ones. SP140s from a long time ago with red LEDs in them. I've had them for a long time, but I just got them in there because my build is going to be red themed eventually once I get it finished. So they're there, and then obviously I started with the Pure Loop 240 by Be Quiet AIO with their Lightwing fans on them, which are high speed ones up to 1800 RPM. So I didn't expect it to be as good as those. After that test, I then basically replaced the 140s and put the Siriuses in front. So 3 120mm in the front, Sirius Extremes in the front, left the AIO as it was. Ran a test on that, and then my final test was to put the 140s back in and then change the Be Quiet Pure Lightwings over to the Sirius on the AIO to test it for static pressure. Now, my testing, I did my usual cinebench. I normally run it for 10 minutes. This time I just did it for 5. It still gives me an idea of how they perform. Bear in mind, it's baking hot in here at the moment. At the moment, it's 25.6 degrees, and that's what it was when I did my final testing with the Sirius on the AIO. We started off at like 24.3 when I did the first test, and the second test was at 25.2, and my last test was at 25.6. So bear that in mind in terms of the results. They're going to be higher naturally on the last one anyway, because it's just so hot in here. We're having a bit of a heat wave at the moment here in the UK. Anyway, let's get into the test results. I'll put these up on the screen as I talk about them. It's going to be just a short telling you what they came out at. And then obviously you can see for yourself how well they perform. Now, my original test with the pure loop with the light wings with the 140s in front, so my standard stock sort of set configuration, which I have running all the time, we had on the CPU package an average of 81, and the CPU itself an average of 70, with a maximum of 84 and 73. So not too bad. Like I say, it is really warm in here. It does depend on the ambient temperature what you'll get. So then went on to the airflow test, tested for airflow against the 140s. Basically, was giving them just so I've got something to compare them against to see how well they perform. And they pretty much perform exactly the same. An average of 81 on the package, 70 on the CPU, and a maximum of 84 and 73, which I believe is, yes, exactly the same. So they performed exactly the same. However, it was hotter in here by around about a degree. So you could say maybe they performed better by a degree, but it could be within margin of error. But yeah, they're as good, or if not better, than the 3 140mm fans. So make your own mind up about that. Pretty good. Quite impressed with that. Then we went on to the static pressure test. Like I said, I'm testing these against Lightwing's high pressure, which are up to 1800 RPM, I believe. And they're fantastic. They're brilliant fans. The Be Quiet Lightwings, really, really good. So I didn't expect them to perform as well, and they didn't. However, they did perform pretty well. And again, we're about almost 2.5 degrees hotter in here. Sorry, not 2.5 degrees. Almost 1.5 degrees, hotter in here than we were when we did the first test. So in terms of static pressure, on the test, we got an average of 84 on the package and 73 on the CPU. So it's an increase of 3 degrees on the package and 2 degrees on the CPU itself. So it's not bad at all. For saying we had a 1.5 degree swing, it's very, very, very close. For saying these are slower fans by quite a bit, I suppose. And yeah, they performed really well. In terms of noise, it's about 34 decibels with these. I only tested it with these on the AIO, so 2 of them running for about 34 decibels. Sat about sort of 10 inches away. We're basically using a phone app. I don't have a proper tester for that, so it is just using a phone app, so it's not the most accurate. But they are pretty quiet compared to the Be Quiet ones. However, the Be Quiet ones are faster, and I run it all at sort of high speed. So it's to be... yeah, you can imagine that's what's going to happen. So all in all, great fans. Really impressed with them. Probably going to leave these in for a while. Quite happy with those. I might actually look at getting more. I'm not sure, because I actually really, really like these. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out, and you now know a bit more about these fans and whether you should purchase them or not. My sort of conclusion is obviously better for airflow, but they still work quite well for static pressure. So yeah, if you want to buy these, then I definitely can guarantee them and look brilliant. I can't complain at all, really. So I hope this was good for you. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. I've got some more fans coming up and some more coolers, and I've also got a couple of mice and things like that coming up. So if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and get your notifications on, and you'll be able to see when they go live. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.